My name is Tindall, and I moved here. My husband and I, Robbie, moved here 17 years ago, and we came from Columbia, South Carolina, where I was a member of St. Martin's in the Fields Episcopal Church for 32 years. Born, baptized, confirmed, EYC'd, and married. My firstborn was baptized there, so that church meant a whole lot to me. And we had a change of ministers a lot, and people left, but we stayed. And when we got here 17 years ago, I had Bowden, that tall fella back there, about 2 weeks later after we moved here. So I was like, we got to find a church, Robbie. We got to get this kid baptized. And so we picked St. John's, and we walked in. I mean, not knowing, we just figured we were going to try a bunch of different churches, but we walked in here, and I just had this overwhelming feeling of like love immediately, like embracement. Like it smelled like my church. It looked a lot like my church before the white was up here. It looked like my church, and I just was like, this is it. And he was like, okay. And so we joined and baptized Bowden over there. And then I had a friend that she's moved out of town since, but she invited me to the Young Women's Bible Study. And I was like, okay, you know. And she's like, yeah, you got to come. It's moms with babies. And I was like, okay, I guess I will. And so I finally went, and I met the best friends there and just had the best experience with these young moms, and our kids grew up together now, and they're in college and in high school, and it meant a lot to me. It also led to casserole committee and vacation Bible school that I got to do with Matt and just everybody that was helped out with that. And so, you know, eventually we made it to supper club and made new friends there. And I found that with St. John's, to me, it's the church, you know, it's the people that make it so great. When I had all three of my boys have had hospitalizations at some point or another for something, and the church was always there. They took care of us. They prayed, you know, brought meals, cards, flowers. I mean, just recently I have a concussion, and I was able, and they were so sweet and cared and prayed for me, and I just love that. The calls and the thoughts and prayers meant so much to me. I learned a lot. We've had a lot of ministers. I don't believe that a church is made up just of ministers. No offense, you guys are awesome, but I do believe that it bothers me when people leave when their minister leaves that they loved, because to me, it's St. John's it's what's, you know, it's the people, it's the fellowship, it's the programs, and of course, you guys are wonderful. We've been so blessed to have you. And some past minister would say to me, he told us one time on the way to church, he said, or when we got to church, he said, listen, I don't care what happens in the minivan on the way to church, just get them to church, you know. I'm like, how did he know what was said in the van on the way to church? I mean, you know, you got little kids, it's like, you know, herding cats to get them in the car to go to church, but that, you know, he spoke to me that day. And then I remember one time when Hewitt, this little one, this big one right here, was like one, and then I had the 3-year-old and a 7-year-old, and, you know, the nighttime routine is hard, and you're saying prayers and getting them to bed. And my 7-year-old was like, Reynolds, just say your prayers. You know what to say. We've said them for 7 years. Like, you know, you're good. That was Saturday night. And literally on Sunday, the next morning, the minister said, I don't care how old your kids are, you pray over them. You pray over them until they're 18, they go off to college. You say the prayers every night. I was like, wow. How did he know I was literally last night going to let my child say his prayers on his own? And so I had laid my hands on my kids ever since then, every night, and said the prayers. Kind of like they're so busy now, they don't really like it as much. But at least until the 18-year-old was here, I laid my hands on them and said their prayers with them, because, you know, that's what I was told. And thank goodness these things were told to me at St. John's and helped me grow, you know, help our children grow and learn from them. And so, you know, there's lots that this church offers, and I'm just so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for the community and for the ministers have been so wonderful. And Peter, Rich, Brad, Matt, Rachel, y'all have just been an asset to us recently, and we're grateful for that. And so I would highly suggest that you give your time, give your money if you're able to, because it helps keep these programs going that make us stay at this church that we love so much. And my parents love this church so much too. They come up from Columbia, and they're listening now. So, hey, Mom and Dad. Just had to say that, sorry. Okay, thank you so much. I think that's all I want to say.